All right. My name is Chris Campbell. I'm a practicing CPA and I work with small businesses and individuals to help them pay the least amount of taxes possible while keeping you out of jail. So today I wanted to talk about the importance of putting yourself on payroll, specifically if you are a C corporation. So I see this a lot with folks that are starting out. They're in C corporations for whatever reason. A lot of times it's not the most ideal entity to be in, at least in regards to taxes, but in some instances, it's usually the best way to go given the circumstances. And mainly, I see this a lot with startup companies that are raising capital or that will look to raise capital, especially those looking to raise VC capital. Many VCs, when investing into businesses, prefer for it to be C corporations versus any other entity. Usually it's tied to stock and the idea that the ultimate goal is to go public. And usually C corporations are the most optimal for that. So usually when folks are starting out with that lofty goal in mind, you come out of the gate as a C corp. But with that said, I see folks that are starting out and sometimes they don't hop on taking care of the payroll as soon as they should. And especially if you're dealing with one or two folks where it's just the founder and then one other person, don't hop on executing the payroll as soon as they should. But what happens is you take a little bit of money here, you take a little bit of money there out of the account, which are really just for personal expenses, but you don't do it under a formal payroll. And that creates a problem because take money out of your C Corp for personal expenses, it creates a double-edged sword in the sense that it creates double taxation. That's why it's very important to make sure that once you start taking money out of the company, make sure you go ahead and set up that payroll. So when you take money out of your C corporation, you don't do it in the form of an actual payroll. You just draw it out of the company. If you're a C Corp, it's treated as a dividend payment. Specifically with the C Corp, it's treated as a dividend payment versus if you're with any other entity, your S Corp is just treated as distribution. For the most part, not too much of a tax impact. The LLC is just created as an owner's draw. Again, not too much of a tax impact on that. It's not a deduction, but nonetheless, it's not necessarily a taxable event. Now, when you do that with a C corporation, those draws are treated as dividends. So those dividends have to be reported as taxable dividend income on your personal tax return, right? Which, okay, fine. If you were taking a salary, you'd have to report that on your personal tax return as well. But the kicker here is that those dividends that you're paying out to yourself are not a deduction on the corporation's income. So essentially, you actually wind up paying taxes on that twice. So pay personally, because you have to report that as dividend income on your personal return, and you don't get the deduction for it on the corporate return. So as a result, you're paying taxes on that money because there's no deduction. So you wind up paying taxes on it twice versus had you ran that through your payroll, then that would be a deduction. It would be a deduction on your corporate return, but yet you still have to pay your taxes on the wages on your personal return. So you would only be paying once in that fashion. So it's just very important that when you're starting out and you have a C Corp, make sure that get that payroll set up as soon as possible and run as much as you can through a payroll versus just taking money out because it can come back and bite you a bit and have some pretty serious tax implications. So yes, make sure you go ahead and you set that up ASAP for our budding C corporation operators out there. All right. So that's all for now. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any more questions about this topic or any other tax or accounting related questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. All right. That's all for now. I'll talk to you in the next one.